policestatefilm.net. Dinesh, tell us all about it.
Well, it's a film that asks a very startling question that if we had asked it just a few years ago, people would think we were nuts. They would think I was making a film about maybe China or Iran or North Korea. But suddenly we can, with all seriousness, look in the mirror and ask, is America still a free society? I mean, just go down the basic liberties in the Bill of Rights, and you'll see that every single one of them has been threatened, has been abridged. Freedom of speech, freedom of conscience or religious liberty, a right to assemble, the right to petition the government for grievances, equal rights and equal justice under the law. I mean, can we say with a straight face that even one of those basic rights is now fully secure? I think the answer is no.
Yeah, and so it's interesting, the timing. You would think that it would be a bad chain of events to have your movie come out. I think it's the opposite. Foreign war, Israel, Hamas, but actually I think it's super appropriate because it shows that the government is so worried about political dissidents while ignoring other potential homeland threats and sleeper cells. Talk about that, Dinesh.
Yeah, this is a very profound point. How did U.S. intelligence, which has massive resources and all the benefits of the most modern technology, how did they have no idea that 1,000 Hamas fighters were going to come into Israel, sometimes from the air, fully visible? Not only did Israel miss this, but we missed it. Why? I think it's because our intelligence agencies have been focused domestically. Now, how do we know that? Because they tell us. Christopher Wray goes before Congress. He says domestic terrorism and domestic extremism. That is their elastic phrase to pull in you, Charlie, and Turning Point. It pulls in Breitbart. It pulls in the Heritage Foundation. So suddenly these organizations, mainstream conservatives, are seen as a bigger threat or perhaps a threat equivalent to ISIS and Al-Qaeda. It's almost unbelievable.
And so talk about some of the revelations you had when putting together this film. I mean, it's so naked, it's so aggressive, and the FBI is now coming out and they deny, oh no, we're not going after this, even though they have a separate threat assessment in a Newsweek.com article. So Dinesh, I'm always curious about this when you do these projects. You come into it with probably some ideas and preconceptions. What did you learn in the process of doing this that was especially eye-opening?
Well, first of all, I reframed the issue as I started looking at it. My initial thought was, are we becoming a police state? In fact, I asked my buddies over at the Rasmussen survey, and they did a survey that showed that 75% of people approximately think we are becoming a police state. And I thought, wow, that's interesting. Democrats too? Well, if you talk to people on the left, they say, yeah, Dinesh, America is becoming a police state, and the threat is coming from the right. It's coming from Republicans. It's coming from Trump. So you've got this bizarre debate in which the question really to ask is not, are we becoming a police state, but who's doing it? Who's behind it? And so I say, all right, let's look at how this police state got started. Let's look at its defining features. Let's look at how it's organized. Let's look at who's in charge. And then we'll have absolutely no doubt about who's behind the modern American police state. I have two kinds of people in the film. I have a lot of whistleblowers, informants, people who sort of explain the architecture of the police state. I mean, how is this thing organized? There's very distinctive elements here in America. And the second type of person I have in the film is ordinary Americans who have come face to face with the police state. And this is really important because there's going to be people who go, well, I'm not Donald Trump, and I didn't go in the Capitol on January 6th, and I pay my taxes, and so this police state has nothing to do with me. The FBI is never going to come bashing through my door. And my message to that guy is, you could not be more wrong.